Okay, so this wheel here is known as the interlace wheel. It came on my car, but it is actually the factory upgrade. It's like a $1,500 option. Well, the other wheel is a Y-spoke, and that comes on the base NSX. It's supposed to be lighter. I searched around, no one can really say how much lighter it is, or if it really is lighter, no one's actually took pictures or really confirmed it. So I have plans to put some track tires on here for road course. I'm going to go with some Pilot Sport Cup 2s, and I bought some Y-spokes for this so I can have 2 sets of wheels. I'm going to put these side by side. The other wheels have some Conti tires on there, almost the same tires. I checked, their tires are the same weight, but what nobody can tell me is a rim. So let me show you the rims and then we'll do a weight comparison. All right, so we have our wheels side by side. This is the interlace wheel. This is the Y-spoke. We took the center caps off just to make sure they're as close to the same as possible. So we have our scale set up right here. We're gonna go ahead, that is already zeroed out. We'll do the interlace wheel first. It takes a second to steady. We're at 46.9. So let's zero that out. Zero. Put the strap on the Y-spoke. We'll do the same thing again. What do we got?
45.1.
45.1. So the Y-spoke, 45.1. It's the same tire. It's the Continental tire. The center cap is removed. So the plans are to leave these original wheels and tires alone. These are the Y-spokes. I'm planning to take the tires off and replace them with the Pilot Sport Cup 2s by Michelin for my track wheels. Well, when I say track, I mean road course. Of course, possibly go back to the drag strip with these as well. I'd like to get a weight on these. Once that tire is removed, I can get a weight on that. But for right now, let's weigh this tire, because these tires are supposed to be pretty light. All right, so I should be able to hook it right on that tire, get an accurate weight. What are we at? 23.9. It's kind of hard because I'm filming.
Yeah, it's hard to see it no matter what.
Glare.
Yep. Yeah, 23.9.
So once that wheel and tire are separated, I'll weigh that tire too. And again, one might be chasing little by little here. This is almost 2 pounds lighter than this wheel, and I'm thinking this tire, based on the specs of going off Michelin's website and going off Continental's website, this tire should be about 3 pounds lighter. So 5 pounds a wheel per corner is quite a bit. So we're going to get a weight on the Conti 5 tire. It's actually off the rim, so we'll get a side-by-side comparison of that. Got 23.10. All right, so this is something that I want to change next. This is the Acura symbol in the wheels. This is available with an H, so you can buy the Honda version, but I'm not into the whole pretending it's a Honda. I know Honda manufactured it, but it's marketed as an Acura. I mean, back in the day, my Type R, I changed everything to A's, but for you out there that's thinking like me, I just don't like the chrome. I've never been a fan of the chrome. I took the A's off the car for that very reason. I'll show you how to take this off and paint it and put it back on, which is what I plan to do with my car. I have 2 sets of rims, and I want to leave one 100% stock like this and one done in black. So I'll show you a super easy way to do it so you don't ruin yours practicing. So the easiest way is to take the wheel off the car. Don't put a screwdriver in here and try and lever it out. You're going to scratch this up. So the backside right here, you're going to knock the cap out from the inside out. Use a screwdriver or something with a plastic or a wooden handle. Put your hand on this side to cup it and just it'll come right out. So now we have our cap off. you can see how it's held on from the back side. It's got these little locating tabs here. This is also like an expansion plug. As you push it in, it opens up, it stops it coming out. This chrome is separate to the painted part. So what you're gonna do is grind those tabs off or sand them off. I'll show you the easiest way. If you've got a small Dremel or a sander, you're just gonna sand that chrome off until it's flush. Let me show you, it's super easy. So I'm gonna use a sander, basically a 90-degree rotary sander. You can use a Dremel, or you could even get in there with a razor blade. Super easy. You're gonna sand just the chrome part. So that's all you're gonna do is sand this until it's level. Then you put your fingernail behind here, and this should come right out for you. Alright, so now you have your shiny Acura emblems. This is like a chrome plated plastic. What I've always had good luck with is use some Scotch-Brite, and you're basically going to take the shine off all of these, sand them as much as you can in all the little crevices. You're going to make them kind of like a dull silver. That's going to give your paint something to stick to. And then I would use self-etching primer. That way it's got something that attaches to the material here, then your paint will stick and it'll hold up. And I'll show you the paint that I use. It's usually pretty good quality stuff. We don't have any issues with it. But you're gonna sand this, get all of the shine off, every little bit you can. You might be able to use acid to kind of chemically etch them. I don't know, I don't want to do it because it might damage or even make it where it cracks. I don't know. This is the way I do it. Chrome emblem is removed. I don't know if you can see it. It's got like almost like the mark around it. And of course you can't polish this when the logo is in there because the wax will get stuck. So now's the perfect time. Go ahead and clean it. Get all the grime off there. Put a nice coat of wax on it. It'll look shiny. It'll keep it cleaner. Of course, when the emblem goes back on. So these are my center caps. I've already put a coat of wax on these, cleaned them, put a coat of wax. What I'm going to use is super glue. And we're not going to put super glue on this. We're going to actually put it on the back side where those pins come through. This hole is set. It doesn't really matter which way you go. I mean, just to be all the same, I'll do it this way. But that hole lines up with one of these uprights. So it doesn't matter which way you do this. It does cover that hole. But that's what you're going to do is put these back on here. Basically melt the plastic back together. You don't need a whole lot. Just until you see it touch both surfaces. Right there. And again. There you go. That's all you need. Because this is going to actually melt the plastics back together. Then you're not going to worry about having glue on the opposite side. So I'll go ahead and do all four and show you what it looks like. Okay, so now I have all four done. Even though it's super glue, it does take a little time to cure. It's going to actually melt those two pieces together. And what I would do is just push down on these just to make sure the tabs are all the way through. And I would let those sit overnight before you put them back on the wheels, just to make sure that they're glued all the way and they're not gonna fall off. It's better than the chrome in my opinion. I was not a fan of the chrome, and I'm not really into changing everything to Honda because, you know, even though it's a Honda in Europe, it's not a Honda here, and kind of over the whole making an Acura Honda. Something I did do 10 years ago, I won't lie, but right now that's not what I'm looking at doing. So this is a little trick. Get yourself a paper towel, make sure it's double layer. That way when you're dripping in here, if you miss, it gives you a chance to catch it, and then you can pull this off before it gets on your plastic. Just as a word of warning, you don't want to get this stuff on your paint, but the fluid that we use is synthetic and it technically won't hurt the paint. However, I still wouldn't drip it on there. So this is just one of those little tricks. So what's actually cool right here is George is pumping the brake pedal, which isn't connected to the hydraulic system at all. It is just pushing a sensor, and then the sensor is telling the computer to pump the master cylinder. That's the whole drive-by brake system, or drive-by-wire brake, or brake-by-wire, whichever you want to call it. So we're pumping out the old fluid here and putting in new. It takes a little bit longer this way, but this is safer than draining the whole system and then refilling, because then you're gonna have to go through a full brake flush procedure, which means it has to be done in a special sequence, and you usually have to activate the ABS to make sure every bit of air is out of the system. This is a foolproof way, something you can do in your driveway. Basically crack the bleeder, make sure the end is submerged in fluid, and just pump it all the way through. So one thing to note, the bleeder here is not a 10, it's an 11. It's not like every other Honda. Usually this is a 10. Okay, so we are all good. We have fresh fluid in there. We pumped about 2 liters through the whole system. That way we know it has the new DOT4 synthetic. The reason you go with a higher boiling point fluid is so that when you produce heat in the brakes, you're not expanding the fluid and pushing the fluid out of here, and it can also give you a spongy pedal, and worst case, lose the brakes completely. So now we have the synthetic in there. I'm going to put the wheels and tires back on. This car is pretty much ready for the road course. Alright, so doing a quick test drive just to make sure we don't have any problems with the brakes. I highly doubt there will be a problem because we didn't break the system open and allow air to get into the system. But it's always best to do a check and a double check. So right now this is the new exhaust on here. There will be a separate video on this. This is the dual mode LHT titanium exhaust. Right now the valves are closed, so the exhaust is fairly quiet. If you can hear it, you can hear the engine, but it's quiet. So now the dynamic mode knob will work. We put it over here onto Sport Plus. Over here, as you see. Now we have sound. We'll turn this, we'll go back to Sport. And of course now it's gone to hybrid mode. Let's wake it back up. See, now it's quiet. So the valves open in automatic the way they should do. Put it up to quiet. And it's quiet. Fantastic. So let's go up here and do a brake check. Yep, we are good. Again, it's always best to check in a safe area where there's no cars around, but basically just flushing the new fluid through. You're not changing anything on the brakes, you're just getting the old fluid out and putting the new fluid in. Okay, so the car should be ready. We have the better tires on there. We have the Pilot Sport Cup tires, are much stickier. However, the Conti 6s have a really good look with. They're great tires. So we did the brake fluid flush just so we want to increase the boiling point of the fluid. I'm not going to be going crazy out there, but I do want to have a little bit better brake fluid in there. I don't want the brake fluid boiling over. So this Sunday is the Eibach track attack. It's at the firm, which is in Stark. I will be filming it. Look out for that video. I'll try and get some GoPro footage. I'll see if I can get one of my friends to get some footage from the outside, just so you can see what the car looks like, how it sounds. There's going to be 50 cars out there, so it should be a great day. That's it. End of the video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video and enjoy your cars.